everybody. We're halfway through the week. Hope you're doing well this Wednesday morning and are ready to wrap up the 7 feasts or festivals, however you want to call it, of Israel that still hold importance for us today as Christians. So we're down to the last one, which we refer to as the Feast or the Festival of Tabernacles, also known as Sukkot. And this was a time that started immediately after the Day of Atonement. It lasted for a total of 8 days. It was in the 7th month and the 15th day, which in our calendar equates from year to year, sometime in late September to early October. So remember, 5 of the festivals were in the spring, and then the last 2 were in the fall. So this would be a fall festival. So what was this all about? The Lord told them to keep the Sabbath and then go into 7 days after that of special burnt offerings to the Lord. And he told them to dwell in booths or tents. So the Tabernacles, the Festival of the Tabernacles, this was to forever call to remembrance to the children of Israel how God faithfully took care of them in the wilderness as they escaped Egypt. And we know that God continually performed miraculous things to keep his people, to have them survive in that very desolate land. He brought water out of rocks. He rained food, manna down from heaven in the mornings. And he just really took care of them. Now, as originally planned, this wilderness experience of the children of Israel was supposed to be about 2 years. But it turned out to be a whole generation, 40 years. Why? Because that first generation of people that came out never got over the ultimate hump of faithfully believing in God and in trusting in him. And they kept looking back and thinking, oh man, we were better off in Egypt. And because of their unfaithfulness, their lack of dedication to believing in and serving God, the penalty, so to speak, of that was that they were not going to enter into the promised land themselves, even including Moses, because Moses had disobeyed God once about speaking to a rock. Instead, Moses struck the rock, in which water came out. And so here we are, God taking care of his people in the wilderness. This is a beautiful picture that brings all kinds of things to our mind. God's presence with them the whole time. And we know that when they were in the wilderness, God's presence had visible signs. By day it was a cloud, and by night it was a pillar of fire. And this was to teach his people to live by faith that God was in control, that God was still leading them, and that they would survive this wilderness experience. And that ultimately God was leading them into the promise that he had given them. So what is that to us today? Perhaps we are living by these same themes. The theme of serving and living for God through faith. Believing in his presence. In the Gospel of John, the 1st chapter in the 14th verse, it says, the Word was made flesh and dwelt among us. That word dwelt is tabernacled. Jesus tabernacled among us. In the New Testament, it was Jesus coming and tabernacling with us as a human being. And as a man, he showed us how to live a life of faith and trust in God, how to walk in faith and toward the promises of God. And Jesus did this in spite of the fact that he very well knew how greatly he was going to suffer, and yet he walked in faith right through all those things, including his own crucifixion. And so now we have the opportunity to live and walk by faith and dwell with God, both while we are on this earth. God is tabernacling with us, inside of us, in the presence of his Spirit inside of us, and ultimately we are going to literally live with him forever. Think about this. God wants to be with you. You know, there's some people in our lives that we really enjoy just being with them. We want to be with them because it's an enjoyable experience. It's comfortable. It gives security. It just, provides just a beautiful, warm experience. Guess what? God wants to be with us. His desire is to be with his people. And so, at the point of faith, when we believe, he comes to live within us. And that points to the ultimate promise that, yes, he will always live within us, but one day he will literally be with us, I believe, in the presence of his Son, dwelling with us forever. Jesus said, in my Father's house are many mansions, dwelling places. I'm going to prepare a place for you, so that when I come again, I'll call you to myself and you'll be with me forever. Wow. We will live with God through the physical embodiment of Jesus Christ forever. The feast, the festival of tabernacles, God with us. That's who Jesus was, right? Emmanuel, God with us. And we can look forward to that for an eternity, knowing that we will dwell with God forever. I hope these feasts have meant something to you. I'm not sure what I'm going to do Friday yet, whether I maybe try to put them all together or go to something different. But God bless you. I know we just barely scratched the surface of these feasts, and I hope that it's been a blessing to you. We'll see you Friday morning. Thanks.